Yeah, I would like to know why did you so you've been to at the church a while, and
Yes.
how did Cafe Agape start?
Yes. So it started because we seen that a lot of our young people were really struggling with that whole isolation. And a lot of our young people at Pittsburgh was facing a lot of mental struggles, trying to cope with not being able to connect with their friends or connect with other people. So we thought the only closest way is to start through virtual. So we started opening up this kind of discussion where we'll throw out a topic about relating to young people, and then we'll chime in on it. We'll talk about it and actually have it live where other people can kind of chime in while we're recording live. Um, yeah, it was amazing how it started because it started off. Our pastor Quantisha at the time, she was talking in her sermons about connecting to people and letting God lead you and letting God's spirit kind of direct you to the path where you're being called. And it was amazing because myself and Esther, we both had the same unction. The spirit was moving. And so we came back after that sermon and we talked to Pastor Quantisha and we're like, Pastor, there's something that came into my spirit the moment you were talking, wanting to reach out to our fellow brothers and sisters, knowing the struggle that we were all going through, uncertain times. It was scary. And so we all came together, we fasted, we prayed. She said us she said, go out for at least a month and really ponder and let God speak to your heart. How are you going to reach out to your fellow young brothers and sisters? And so we sat back, and me and Esther fasted together with Contisha, and we came back after a month. And it was amazing because we both came up with the same Bible verse. So we came with the verse that Jesus was saying that to love God with all your heart and all your soul, and to do it to the others. And so we were amazed at the fact that we were able to connect in that way. And so we started digging in deeper and unpacking the verse, and we really kind of all came together saying that God is love. So that's where agape came from.
Wow, that's right. You didn't have a title to start with.
Yeah, we did not have a title, and just through unpacking the verse and how we felt and how God was speaking to us, that's how we kind of all came to that meeting point, understanding that God is love, and that is what was missing at that time, that these young people were looking for really, and feeling lost in this world. Yeah.
Make, how did you begin to be part of the Cafe Agape?
So
Cafe
first,
Agape. Agape.
Cafe Agape. So first, I started seeing them posting on social media, on Facebook. So immediately I was drawn, but I didn't know Sila and Esther at the time. But I started following what they were doing. I'm in seminary, and one of our practicum that we were required to be part of like a local church to serve at the local church. But I go to Martinez. Pittsburgh was closer, and I was already drawn to Seta and Lesila. And then there's another girl who introduced me to them. So I asked them to be my practicum leaders, and I served under Cafe Agape. So that's how, but I wasn't serving under Cafe Agape, I was serving under Seta and Lesila. And after that trimester, they asked if I want to join. And I said, oh my gosh, I've been waiting.
And then we also have a Bible study group going on every Monday at 8 p.m. We started this Bible study together, but we also have prayer together with our church, with Pittsburgh United Methodist Church. We have prayer and fasting together from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. every Wednesday. And then our Bible studies together, whoever can join due to work and all that stuff. But it's an outlet for all of us to come and continue to be fed, because we are serving But at the same time, that's what we realize is we continue to serve, but we're seeking places for us to be fed and have an outlet where we can come and share among each other what we are going through as young leaders. And so that's why we have this Bible study. And the Bible study is led by each and every one of us. We
So, were there any obstacles to starting this?
For myself, just to answer, I think the obstacle was the whole church was for it. They were really for it, excited, because our congregation in Pittsburgh, we have a lot of senior saints. So having a young energy in the atmosphere was exciting for them. So we had a lot of support and prayer. At the same time, our pastor, Quantisha, was very supportive. She stood by us in every direction and choices that we made. But I think what was hard was the reminding when, for example, some worships you have a few people trickle in, and it's like, oh, is this really worth doing? But that motivation and keeping yourself aligned with knowing that you're doing this because of God's work and He's called you to do this work. And so I think that was my challenge, trying to be focused and continue being obedient to God's Spirit.
it's just amazing how the Spirit works within us as we come to pray and fast about this ministry. Our vision is basically the same. We've been having worship at Pittsburgh. Now it's time for us to take Cafe Agape to churches. So every other Sunday now, um, so I mean every other month we're going to be on the road, taking Cafe Agape on the road for churches who will like to bring who wants to see what Cafe Agape is about. Uh, this Sunday is our first program for this year. We're having a movie night, pajama movie night. So we're really excited for it. And yeah, commitment is based on we just continue to pray and ask God. And like, I'm gonna be honest, when we came back this year, me and Sila was like, I don't know how everyone will feel now. Like, would they still be on the move to move forward with us? Or it was just because we took time off to pray and fast. And we came back and we met that first meeting. It was just mind blowing how God moved within all of us. Everyone was on fire. They were just like, so what's our next move? So for myself, what keeps me inspired is seeing these young faces like that shows up, and then also seeing the young ones like my nieces and my nephew that come when we go to worship. Like I look at them and I think of what would their generation be like if we stop now. What are they gonna look up to? How will their future be? Because would they be committed to go and do these things or not? Would there be stuff like this? But just showing them that they're capable of showing up and doing these work, and just being that role model also too. But just looking at these young people and just also hearing the deaths and like the hurt in the community of like the young people, like people just going through like mental issue problem, people, young people, hurting themselves, committing suicide, things like that. That brings us to why we have Cafe Agape, a safe space for young people to come and just be themselves.
But I can touch base on what keeps me motivated to join, to keep on showing up for Cafe Agape. It's the community that they have created. Sorry, I'm emotional, so excuse me if I cry. When after we did our practicum, Sila invited me to join the worship team. The first few time we had worship night, only 2 or 3 people would show up. But when I looked at Zeta and Sila, they did not hesitate to, let's just cancel, let's just do something else. Why play the whole band for only 2 audience, right? I was motivated to keep showing up because I saw how faithful they were, regardless of the numbers. I saw how faithful they were regardless of the audience, because we're all serving for one audience, and that's God. That's what motivated me to keep showing up for them and for myself. And it didn't matter who would show up. It didn't matter what the outcome is. What we plan to do, we do it. Because a lot of things nowadays, when there's not a lot of people, when you're not getting recognized, people stop. They do something else. But they didn't do that. So that gave me the affirmation that this was from God and this is from God, and it's gonna go places regardless of where it is right now. So that's what keeps me motivated to keep showing up for Cafe Agape. And our Monday night Bible study is it's a place for us to, like Seta said, to be ourselves and share. When we share, I do not leave anything, I do not leave anything behind. I share with them everything that's going on with my life. And that's how we pray for each other, and that's how we help each other. Recently Seta was able to help me with something because I shared, and they're always willing to help when they see that you're struggling with something. That's what keeps me motivated to still join Cafe Agape.
For myself, my motivation is the calling and the nudge that the Spirit of God has put into my heart. Also piggybacking off my two sisters here, the need for the change in the world. And I believe that if you can make one little movement, it would multiply and create a bigger movement. And I see the lives that have been changed. Most of the time, when we used to have discussion with certain topics like mental illness, and there are people that do not go to church, that do not feel comfortable to go to church because they were hurt, or maybe they felt out of place to go inside a church. But we were able to bring up the topic and not only talk about that issue, but kind of show them what God's love is, and that the church is just a building, but the people in the church is the hands and feet, and that we're not all like that. And so I see the ripples that Cafe Agape is creating, and in my heart and in my gut, I know that God has other plans for Cafe Agape, which is like, as we start this year, we're going to start traveling to different churches. So yeah, the motivation of hearing God's call and seeing his people in need is for me my motivation.